Ashwagandha is a 3 to 6,000 year old Indian supplement that I have been very excited to try out. So in this video, we're going to be going over why I actually chose to try out Ashwagandha. Then we're going to go into the science behind it, followed by my experience taking it for over 1 month. And then finally, I'm going to give a recommendation as to who I actually think would benefit the most from taking this supplement. But before we can really go into all that, first, I do just want to say that if you enjoy these types of videos, these kind of higher production value, consistent videos, then do consider hitting that subscribe button because I really want to get to that 1K mark. And also, I'm sorry to say that I'm not a doctor. Unfortunately, this is not medical advice. Please do your own research before putting anything into your body. This video is really just meant as an educational overview of this supplement. So then why did I actually choose to take ashwagandha? Well, the main reason is because of two things. The first one is that it's a plant-based substance, and if something's plant-based, then that just means that generally speaking, we're gonna have a lot fewer downsides compared to its upsides. If you actually look at a lot of, say, pharmaceuticals, then a lot of them have a lot of very big downsides, whereas if you look at something like cordyceps or lion's mane, which are two natural substances, they basically don't have any downside. The biggest downside is you're down like $40 for a month, but that is much preferred to some of the very negative side effects that I've had kind of taking some other pharmaceuticals. And I'm always up for a bit of experimentation, for stretching my comfort zone just a little bit, as long as I think the upside is worth it. And now let's take a look at the actual effects of ashwagandha. So this supplement is really meant to be taken for a longer period of time. You're not going to see much of the benefits that I'm going to be talking about if you've only been taking it for a very short period of time. It's unfortunately not one of those things. It's more similar to something like lion's mane or cordyceps, where really the big rewards will come from you having taken it consistently for years. And its benefits can really be grouped into three separate categories. The first one is your stress response. It could actually potentially help you lower your level of stress. Now, this I think is the main reason people will want to try out ashwagandha. The second thing is it could potentially help increase your mitochondrial efficiency and lower your level of inflammation. And finally, it might actually have some positive benefits on both cholesterol and your thyroid levels. Now, starting things off with your thyroid and your cholesterol, it could potentially help both increase your thyroid and decrease your cholesterol levels. Now, this is by no means 100% unequivocally proven, nor is it a substitute for any sort of medication that your doctor tells you to take. This is one of those things that maybe in the long run, if you started off early enough, it could potentially help stave off needing to take medication, but it once again is by no means a replacement for medication. And in fact, if you are taking a medication for either one of those things, then you definitely want to talk to your doctor before actually trying out ashwagandha. Next up, your mighty mitochondria. It could potentially help increase your mitochondrial efficiency and make it a lot more healthier, thereby letting it produce more power for you. As I spoke about in my NMN video, which you guys definitely need to check out, if your mitochondria is functioning at less of an efficiency, at kind of a worse state, that is comparable to your city's power plant not functioning at 100% and thereby not providing you enough power, and so all the houses are flickering and nothing is going as well as it should. It's the same thing in your body. If your mitochondria aren't functioning well, then that means you're gonna have less energy, you're gonna have less focus, and your overall quality of life is just gonna be that much worse. Taking ashwagandha might just help with that. And it could also potentially help with your level of inflammation, which, as we know, is very, very not good. And so if you can lower your level of inflammation while increasing your mitochondrial function, both of those can be huge, huge benefits. And leaving the best For last, it could potentially help moderate or modulate your level of stress. It could potentially help you de-stress from life by essentially lowering your level of cortisol. And now cortisol is your stress hormone. Whenever you're stressed, whenever you're perceiving stress, your brain goes, oh no, I could potentially die. And so it releases this cortisol to really help wake you up and put you into what's called your fight or flight reflex. Now, this, when we lived in the African plains and just in kind of very dangerous situations, was a really good thing. However, the problem is nowadays we perceive too many things as threats that aren't actually threats, and so our levels of cortisol are just going up and up and up and up, and this could potentially help push them down a little bit. Now, in the study that I looked at, your level of cortisol really only started dropping when you've been taking ashwagandha for more than 3 months. So that is one thing to really consider. The other thing to consider is, once again, all of this is just pure speculation. However, if you are prone to stress like I am, then this could potentially be a good thing for you to try out. And now I think for the moment you've all been waiting for, does it live up to the hype? Is it worth taking ashwagandha? And I have to say, yeah, I actually think that it would be worth taking it. Now, in terms of me specifically, I took 2 of these guys, which are 1300 milligram pills of ashwagandha per day for a little over a month now. And what I found was that about a week to a week and a half in, I didn't feel anything. It really was at around that 2-week mark of me taking it consistently every day where the effects started to really show. And namely, the big effects, the main reason I took them, is it helped me regulate my level of stress. Now, I think the way that I can best describe on how it was able to help me regulate my level of stress is I'm very prone to stress, and I'm very prone to going from 0, 0, 0 to 100% stress back down to 0. I'm very prone to these outbursts of being stressed, and these periods can last a fairly long time, even a couple of hours to sometimes even days. And what ashwagandha really helped me do is, instead of going from 0 to 100 and then stay at 100, it was able to let me go from 0 to, let's say, 60-70%, and because I was only 60-70% stressed, that's a lot less stress than I'm used to, I was able to then downgrade my stress and go back to that de-stress 0 state that I really like to be in. So I do have to say, yes, if you're looking for something that can potentially help you regulate your level of stress, then I definitely think that ashwagandha could be a good thing for you to consider. Now, in terms of your level of energy, I actually would say that I've had better. If you just care about your level of energy, I say something like cordyceps or NMN would be much better of an investment. However, I do think that it helped a little bit. And finally, in terms of my level of cholesterol and thyroid, I honestly can't really talk about that because I didn't have my levels checked, and also I'm within the normal range at any rate, so I don't think there was really too much of a change there. However, if that is the main concern for you, then I definitely suggest you checking it out and you doing some tests on yourself. And kind of to wrap everything up, who would I recommend this to? Well, I think I primarily would recommend this to someone who is looking to de-stress and to help regulate your level of natural stress. And then the second reason is for those other benefits, taking it for a very long time. I actually think that there is some merit to taking this for a fairly long period of time, and this is going to be one of my supplements that I'm going to be taking for the long term. Now, in terms of who I would recommend this to, I would say that primarily if you're looking to modulate your stress and to kind of regulate your level of stress, I would suggest you trying out ashwagandha. However, if you're looking for any of its other benefits, then I would say that you could actually check this guy out, but there might be better things to actually take for that. For me personally, I'm going to be taking this for the long term. I actually definitely think that I've gained a fair bit from this supplement, both in terms of de-stressing and in terms of all of its other kind of auxiliary effects. If you found this helpful, then I would definitely love it if you click that subscribe button. Again, I really want to get to that 1K subs. And on screen right now, you have a few recommendations from me as to what you should be watching next. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.